Hi everybody, welcome to the Baker Airguns Quick Look. I'm Donnie Reed, and today we're going to discuss a new take on an old classic. This is the Benjamin 397S, S meaning the new synthetic stock. This is essentially the same gun as the older 397 PA, 397P, the 397, and the 392 as well. The last digit denotes the caliber of the gun. 397, this is 177. 392 is the 22 caliber version. Now, if you know the family of these Benjamin rifles at all, you know that these were previously offered in a wooden stock version. The air tube, the barrel, most of the gun is made of brass and it's soldered together. Always was and still is. As far as we can tell, the only changes to the gun have been the stock. And you got to admit, this is a pretty good looking stock. Now, I don't think that the wood one looks better or the synthetic one looks better. They're different. They're different. And I appreciate them both. I like them both. But I do like this synthetic version for another reason we'll get to in a little bit here. And it has to do with the scope and the scope mount on the rifle. Now, unfortunately, the wooden version of this gun is no longer available. It will only come in the synthetic version from now on. Like I said earlier, so far as we can tell, the only difference between this new S version of these guns compared to the older wooden versions is the stock. Everything else is identical. I tested a 397, the older wooden version, against this 397S. I tested them both with a 10-shot string using JSB 8.44 grain pellets. And I ended up with an average of 736 feet per second on 10 pumps with the S version, and an average of 726 feet per second on 10 pumps with the older wooden version. That little 10 foot per second difference is well within the design parameters of the gun. That's nothing significant. And you can see the extreme spread and standard deviation for both of these guns is very impressive. That's akin to the performance of a regulated PCP. I also tested the trigger on these guns, and by the way, the trigger on these guns is really pretty good. It really is. It mimics a two-stage trigger, and you end up with a nice, easy, distinct first stage. Then you hit the solid wall, add a little pressure, and it ends up being about a 4 to a 4.5 pound trigger pull. I tested this 397S against the older wooden 397 and ended up with, I believe, 4.2 pounds average for the S version and 4.4 pounds for the wooden version. Nothing significant, and they felt the same. They're a very good trigger right out of the box. As far as the dimensions of the gun go, it stays the same at 36.75 inches in overall length, and the weight is also unchanged at 5.5 pounds. Now, about the sights. The sights are also unchanged, and what you have is a fully adjustable leaf sight for the rear. It does adjust for both windage and elevation, and you have the solid soldered on front sight post. You really can't change the front sight post very easily. You can add a Williams 5D peep sight to the pre-drilled holes in the breech, and that's a fair option. But I have to admit, my one gripe about this new version is that this stock is fantastic. It feels great, except that it makes it very difficult to use the open sights. I did some accuracy testing with the open sights, and as you watch these groups, you'll see that at 20 yards, using the same JSB 8.44 grain pellets on 10 pumps, I ended up with an average of a little over an inch for a 5-shot group, about 1.25 inches, roughly in that area. And that's not terrible, you know, that's not bad, but this whole thing you're looking at here is, in my opinion, necessary to get the most out of this gun. This stock begs for a scope. It lifts your face up perfectly to where you'd have a nice clear image if you had a scope mounted to the gun. And we have at Baker Airguns our proprietary Baker Airguns Benjamin 397 and 392, and it will fit the P version, the PA version, the version with no numbers, or I'm sorry, no letters, and this S version. It will fit all those models. And it is the perfect solution for adding a scope to these rifles. There are other solutions on the market, but these are notorious for damaging these rifles. If you remember, these are brass built rifles that are soldered together, and these solder joints break. If you put any pressure between the breech and the air tube or the barrel and the air tube, you're just asking for trouble. We repair hundreds of these guns a year, and lots of them are split. The solder joints are split because of other scope mounts on the market. Now, at Baker Airguns, we designed the solution to this problem, and what it is our proprietary scope mount. And what it does is mounts to the breech only in such a way that it only puts pressure on the breech itself. This pressure does not go between the breech in the air tube or the barrel in the air tube. That's what causes the splits. And our mount does not do that. It's very easy to install. We have another video I just made, which is an installation video for this scope mount. And we also have one of these for the Sheridan C series of rifles. You can find them on our website, bakerairguns.com. So as you can see, I've installed our scope mount on this Benjamin 397S. Like I said, it will fit this new version, which is awesome. This new stock begs for a scope. I have high rings on here. The scope mount will take weaver or dovetail rings. I prefer dovetail because it gives me more mounting options, whereas you have a limited number of choices if you use the weaver Picatinny style rings. The scope on here is an Aztec Emerald 5.5 to 25, the original second focal plane version. And the reason I have this scope on here is to show you that you can put any scope you want on here after you install our mount. A little tiny compact bug buster, all the way up to a big 50 millimeter field target scope if you want to. And this is an outstandingly comfortable setup. Like I said, this stock, with the way the comb is molded into the stock, when you shoulder this and snap in, it brings that scope right where you need it. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Naturally, after I put the scope on this, I had to retest the accuracy. So I again went to the 20-yard range, and I'm shooting the JSB 8.44 grain pellet, 10 pumps, only this time using the Aztec Emerald scope. And the worst group I shot was a little over a half of an inch. The best group I shot was a little better than a half of an inch. That's incredible. That's incredible. It literally shrank the groups better than in half. Not only is that improvement impressive, but it really shows you how accurate these rifles can be. I'm shooting a small 8.44 grain pellet in a lot of wind. I know you can't really tell in the video, there's not much for wind reference, but it was very windy, and it was from left to right. Still, this is incredibly accurate, and this is the 177 version. The 392, the 22 caliber version, is equally as accurate, only less affected by the wind. So if you want to shoot a little further, I wouldn't hesitate to extend this to 30 yards with probably half-inch groups with that 22 version, the 392S. All of this stuff you can find at bakerairguns.com. We have the rifles in stock, the mounts, the rings, the scopes. There is a bit of a package deal. If you buy the scope mount and some UTG rings together, you get a bit of a discount. So look at that on the website. We have a lot of stuff going on. Free shipping on orders over $150. We are shipping internationally to a certain number of locations. You can check the terms and conditions part of our website for information on that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely check out these guns. They are awesome. They need a scope. We have that solution for you. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, stay safe, and happy shooting.
Hi, I'm Dennis Baker with Baker Airguns. Thanks for stopping by. Click the link below.